Joining me now from our bureau in New York City, financial expert and founder and CEO of One Huddle, Sam Caucci. Sam, looking at the headlines out of the Wall Street Journal right now, and it's not terribly pretty, and this one isn't pretty. It says a global conundrum, how to pause the economy to avoid ruin. Many costs keep on running, as they point out. Businesses have payrolls, debts, and other fixed overheads. Here's the bottom line, Sam. There's no doubt about it. Unfortunately, some of these businesses, in particular, some restaurants, are just not going to make it through this.
You're 100%. You're on the money. It's going to be tough. I think that without a doubt, there's hard times that we're going through, and there's harder times ahead. I think that the one thing that I'm seeing in my business, as I talk to a lot of CEOs, is that there's a few storylines that are sort of emerging today. You have some CEOs out there that are making the very tough choice around making cuts, cutting back, cutting payroll. It's hard stuff, but they're cutting too much. They're cutting across the board. Then you got others who, which keep me optimistic, that are leaning in. They're the ones that are doubling down on ways to communicate remotely. They're the ones that are trying to figure out a way to be innovative in their business as long as they're allowed to keep people on the payroll. So some are leaning in, some are leaning back. That's going to be the tale on how bad this is or not.
My daughter called me this weekend on Saturday, and she's 24, in a panic because she had just been furloughed. And it's a corporation. It's a multi-state based corporation. I'm not going to say exactly who or what it is, but the bottom line is, I tried to explain to her that if you were the CEO of this corporation, you would probably do exactly what the CEO did because of what the federal government did in this so-called rescue package, right? They are effectively paying the salary plus of all these furloughed workers. That would be we, taxpayers through the federal government. We're going to be paying these salaries because of what they passed in Washington, D.C. So it makes total sense to furlough these workers, let the government, aka we the people, pay their salary for 4 months and then hire them back.
Yeah, it's an awful strategy. Again, I understand the one side of it, that we're creating an environment where businesses are going to make the best decision for their survival. I'm a tech startup in my company, and we do workforce training for a living. So my business has surged over the last 2 weeks because more companies are realizing, wow, we need to figure out a way to work remote and operate remote.
Right.
But an interesting that's happened, sort of along that trend is that, I've been able to have a lot of conversations with investors and other partners. I mean, companies are being told to hold on to their cash and survive. Yeah. They're not being told ways to try to move forward.
Right.
And this is where we need more innovation. Your daughter and the people that are being furloughed in her home, they're the ones who companies could be putting to work if we motivate them to do that.
Yeah, or you get innovative, like you said. Out of every calamity, there's opportunity, and that's what I explained to my daughter. I said that maybe this is a chance for her to move in a direction on her own and create a business down the road based on what is happening right now. But what do you do about my buddy Archie and his restaurant? He's got a small little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. A guy like that might not survive all of this because his business is down 70%. He can't, remotely operate a restaurant. It doesn't work that way.
Right. And again, it's unfortunate, but I don't have any good news for the business owners that are sitting, straight in the line of sight of this thing in restaurants and in retail and in hospitality.
Yeah.
I think that the one thing I'll say is that this has been a trend that has been coming to a certain degree. We've been talking for months about future of work. We've been talking for months about automation and the robots that are going to take everybody's jobs. I don't know where the robots are right now, but right now, this is a trend. We were talking about how we operate our businesses by being more remote. So if you keep the line of thinking about how do we turn this into an opportunity, businesses have to find ways to operate remote. They need to find ways to lean into mobile technology to keep their workforce together. And I think one of the biggest problems for Archie, for your daughter, and for all the other business owners out there is not just how do you keep revenue going, over this period, but it's how do you keep your people together? Because at some point, this is going to end.
Right.
And Archie's employees are going to come back.
Right.
And they're going to remember him for what he does right now, and we need to give tools to Archie so that he can power his people in this tough moment.
In the meantime, it's massive market dislocation, and all not because of the virus, but because of government's reaction to the virus. Sam, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.